Jeez. We in the game right now. And then let's go live here. Let's get it. Yo. All right then. Some feedback. Yo. 1, 2. All right then. Yeah. Let's go live, family. Let's get it in right now. Arms folded, arms crossed. We about to get in the game. Rich risings to one and all. It's your brother from another motherland. Mr. Mikel, the energy, the world changer. Utu Amungu. Inside. And we're dealing with spiritual health, family. We're in the game. This is the season called Take Back the Energy, family. So I want to vibe with you today. Let me know how it's sounding on your side. Let me know how it's sounding on this side. And hopefully we're all in unison. All right then. Yes. Hey. We're gonna get on our Heaven Safari, family. We are in the last part, the final quarter of the year, family, and I want us to feel good about where we're at, family. So we're going to be doing question and answers today. We're going to be going in on some spiritual health topics. We're going to be talking up the things, family. Put in the comments right now anything you want me to start discussing, anything you want us to mention this rising. We're going to get it in. We're going to talk about that right now. If you're at home, if you're listening to me right now, if you're here, if this is a part of your rising ritual, then I want to say rich risings to you, family. Rich risings to you. I want to let you know, family, that today is your day to make it your own, family. That's right. From you woke up this rising, it means you're able to get in the game, family. Don't be beating yourself up for whatever you did yesterday. Don't be harmed by the thoughts that go in your mind, family. Take control of your thoughts, family. You do that by getting into your game. Cheza rojo. Allow yourself to remove yesterday's energy. Allow yourself to release all the energies that are stuck to you from yesterday. Cleanse your palate, family, and start anew. Inside. See, it's dangerous for me to play this because I just want to. All right, okay, let me begin. I need to figure this one out, car. I'm going to figure this out. I need to figure out how I can, because right now I want to Cheza with you guys as well. So I'm going to figure this out. I need a microphone that attaches to my laptop, but it needs to be wireless, and a headphone system where I could just talk to you on the go whilst playing music. That's wild. That's what I'm talking about. But yeah, family, we're here. Spiritual Health with Mikel. And yeah, I'm in the mood right now. So please, please, please put in the comment section. We're doing question and answer today, family. Don't be shy. We're talking about the spiritual health right now. It's Monday. It's the 7th of November, and it's raining outside. And we are preparing for the motherland, family. We're preparing to get it in. Hold on, we got some feedback going on. And I don't like it. I don't like it. It's too much. Hold on. 1, 2. Can you guys still hear me good? Feedback is ridiculous. All right, then. Yeah, family. We're going to be preparing for the motherland village link up this December. And, you know, this trip is really about setting people up for the new year. As you know, Nature's new year begins in March. That is when nature begins its new cycle. Spiritually, we prepare for that new year from February. And so, Village Link Up is that crossover period where we get to prepare our spirits for the new program that we want to set. We're going to be doing a lot of new programs in the new year as Waroho House. But I want to get us ready. That reset is so important, family. There's a journey you've been on this year. And so it's very important that we have time for reflection. There's a journey you've been on this year. It's very important you have that time where you get to lock off from the program so that you can decide if you want to play the same game the same way, or you want to reshift and redesign your program, making better decisions, making firmer choices, making clearer goals. And this is what Village Link Up is there for as well, family. There's nothing like, I said this in a post that I put up a couple of days ago, and it was about our using nature as a tool to reset yourself. You know, this idea that nature is what everything is built on. Yeah. Think about that. Nature is what every single thing is built on top of, right? And so nature becomes the closest thing or the closest reference experientially to the Most High, which we know is peace, which we know is the unconditioned state of existence. Yes, the formless, the void. When we call on God, that's what we're talking about, unless we're speaking to different aspects, which we'll get into. But being in nature, family, this is what it does to us. By proxy, it allows our being to reset, our rhythm to reset in alignment. Another thing what we can always rely on is that nature doesn't change its rhythm. Nature doesn't change its rhythm. Nature doesn't change uh its fundamental resources that it gives you. Everything we experience, all of this technology that surround me, this clothes, whatever we design on top of nature is the power we've all been given as humans. But in order to make use of that power, we have to remember what nature is, and nature is the spirit of God. Remember that. Write that down. Nature is the spirit of the Most High. And so, why a Village Link Up, why Africa is so important is because Africa being the birthplace of civilization as we know it, it becomes the motherland to us all, and particularly us as a people of nature. Africa becomes our Mecca in a sense that we get to fully. It's like literally like shedding skin. If you spend enough time in the motherland, and I'm not see a lot of people go to the motherland and they go straight towards their Western sensibilities. You look for the nearest hotel, you look for the nearest KFC, you look you look for the nearest club that looks like you're in Oxford Street. You look for the nearest house that looks like, and I'm like, that's cool. It's cool because you get to experience the fact that Africa has it all. But the real value and the real richness of Africa comes in the natural experience. And so Village Link Up is set up so that you can, and I use this word intentionally, so that we can experience the luxury of nature. There's nothing like, and anybody who's been on our trips will tell you, there is nothing like the the richness you feel, the wealth you feel sitting in the darkness of nature with your bare feet around a fire, surrounded by your people, and the feeling of safety, security, wholeness, love you get. You're like, wow. And it's not a wild thing. If you think about think about anyone who becomes a millionaire or a billionaire, what do rich people go and do? Where do rich people spend their time? In nature. People make all this money to go and spend time in the beach, to go and camp in a forest, to go and uh go kayaking or climb in a mountain. That's why do people do that? It's such a crazy paradox. You can have these things for next to nothing. But we spend all our time. There's a story. I'm gonna butcher it. I don't even want to. I'm gonna butcher this. There's a story that I heard in Uganda that talks about when a white man, when the white man came and saw an African. I'm gonna try my best to repeat this story, but I thought it was hilarious. So a white man's walking along the beach, right, and he sees this African man chilling. And he says, "What are you doing?" He goes, no, I'm gonna butcher this whole story. Yeah, nah, let me go for it. I'm gonna let me go for it. He goes, what are you doing? Why are you laying down? He goes, oh, I'm resting. He goes, oh, but nah, 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 can't remember it. Sorry, guys. Good story. Let me see if it's online. I know the story fundamentally, but like it's a very good parable about um the whole point of what the things we do, what we do. And fundamentally, what I'm trying to say is the things we strive for are much more accessible than we think. Yeah. The things we yearn for, this connection to nature and the motherland and to experience the luxury and power of ourselves is much more accessible than we're led to believe, and that's the point of what I'm trying to make. And that's the reason why village link up in these spaces exist. You know, for me, uh, I want to feel my power at zero. We know the importance of money. We know the importance of what money can do for us in the world, but we've been fooled into believing that money is the most valuable thing. Money is a very important aspect of energy transformation. But family, when it comes to your power, when it comes to your connection to the Most High, when it comes to your richness, when it comes to understanding yourself, when it comes to observing the beauty of your own nature, family, money is not even in the conversation. You see, and Africa becomes I wanted to create that bridge for Africans to be able to, in the diaspora, who like myself grown up in the city around bricks as so-called minorities. There's a lot going against our nature in terms of how we experience it. Every day we witness ourselves being mistreated by the system. We witness our brothers and sisters going through terrible experiences and conditions of the self. And so it would seem, just by living life here, that life is set up against you. And that an intellectual mind will naturally start to believe that there's something wrong with us. And when you go and experience yourself in nature, in the environments that you originate, you start to see the true power, especially when you understand what nature means to the world. Nature is the bank of the world. Nature is the bank of life, and you are nature. You get what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And and you hear me preach about it a lot. I talk about these things a lot. I preach about it a lot. I've got workshops and all kind of things on it. But like, to put you in that place, I can't. That's better than to put you in that space where you sit there and you experience it. Then I don't need to talk. I don't need to talk anymore, because you are now fit. You have the physical experience of understanding what it's like to exist in oneness with nature. And so that's what we're set up to do. We've got a crazy experience lined up for you guys, bringing in the new year in supreme fashion, and again a beautiful lineup of experiences. One that's going to take us on a spiritual adventure into the motherland and into self. Again, the point of this, family, is you know you got to look at your year, the year you're living. You got to look at it like that's the game. That's the In 1 year, that's the game. Like a cycle around the sun is your game. And every game, you have that. You have half time where you go and be like, okay, you review what you did. You drink some water, you get some words from your coach, me. You get some words from the coach and put ideas in your mind. Okay, think about this. You look at the play, like, okay, where you went wrong, you review your videos, and you get back in the game. That's what this is about, family. I want my people around the world, my diaspora, my Africans, we're out there in the world, we're doing the most, we're setting up businesses, we've got our careers, we're building families, we're doing our institutions, we're doing so much stuff, family. I need you to know that you got a space in the motherland where you can retreat to and lock off, go offline and reason. Get back into your body, realign your spiritual values. You know what I'm saying? Put your feet on the ground and be nothing for a second. Nas had a song, beautiful song on one of his last albums, A Place to Be Nobody. Have you not heard that song? I'm gonna play a snippet of it just so they don't lock me off on the internet. But like, if you ain't heard of this song, it's a cold song by Nas and Lauryn Hill family. But this is it. This is what it's about. A place to be nobody. And I'm going to explain what that means in a second. I just want to get a little. This is an important thing for us as people. And I'm going to break that down for you guys. A place to be nobody. Something that we've never experienced. And it's something that Village Link Up is doing for us. Let's go. Nakumaisha, family. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Hey, by the way, Nas is back, by the way. One state. Place to be nobody. Hey, Nas killed that, by the way. I'm a huge Nas fan. I like, other than Graham, Nas is my favorite rapper. All right, cool. So check this out. A place to be nobody. Why I love that song and why I really connect with the message is because one thing living in the motherland showed me that is missing from the current a rhythm of most Black people who don't live in the motherland, and even some people who live in the motherland. I didn't realize this is actually a problem in the motherland now, but I'll get to that in a sec. But I've been a Black person my whole life, and I didn't realize I've been a Black person my whole life, and I didn't realize I used that as a badge of honor up until I lived in the motherland and realized it was the very thing that held me back. And I say that in a way, not as a disrespect to who I am in my nature as a Black person, but what being Black has fundamentally meant I do as an identification with the world. Does that make sense? I realize living in the motherland, my entire shape and form as a Black person is designed around my trauma with whiteness and white societies. Yes. And trauma of being that trauma that's attached to being a part of this system. That's the entire framework of what we call Black. So when we look at people and say you're not Black enough, we're saying that you're not displaying your pain enough. You're not displaying enough ignorance. You're not showing how much attached you are to the pain and the trauma that we all are supposed to collectively experience. And that's why when we see Black people who do not have the day-to-day experiences of most Black people, we say they're not Black, or we say they're not acting Black. Why? Because Blackness is attached to being um in this state of decadence, in this state of trauma, in this state of being the underdog and the underneath. And for someone who is designing this world to be a paradise for all people, especially the people of nature, someone who's doing that, as someone who's sung World Changer for the last 12 years, that's not a good space to be in and to design the world from. You can't design the world from a space of fear. You can't design the world from a space of lack. You can't design the world from a space of being Do you get what I'm saying? You can't design the world from that space because you're always going to place limiters on what you can actually do. I only got to experience that when I lived in the motherland. For the first time living in the motherland, I got to experience being nobody. And I swear to God, I'm even getting emotional as I'm saying this. I don't think Black people understand the privilege of being nobody. It's do you understand? Put a flame if you know what I'm trying to say. And if you don't, please ask a question, because maybe we can provoke some more thought for here. But Black people need to feel the privilege of being nobody. What we call white privilege, what we call white privilege is their ability to be no one, to go into a space and have nothing attached to their being other than what they say. The ability to, this is why, we always say, oh, when we meet white guys and or rich white people, they wear anything they want, they just how anything. And the poorest a Black person is wearing the most expensive shit. Why? Because they can't be no one. They can't be no one. They don't have the luxury of presenting themselves at zero, at face value. We have to design ourselves other than ourselves, with their hoping to get through and get away, and hoping to kind of, you know, trick someone into believing that we're better than they may assume us to be, for fear of being left out, fear of being treated or mistreated. Do you get what I'm saying? It's all trauma based. Black people need the experience of being nobody, and the motherland is the only place on the planet that can do that for us. Because in that space, you don't become Black, you just become a person. Because you get it? Because by majority rule, every person looks like you. Therefore, you're just a person. Especially if you're not like me. When I move anywhere, if I'm going back home, I'm not. I don't go on like I look. I look worse. I look worse than people who live there. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, people people in Africa got way too much swag. By the way, they got way too much swag. Do you get what I'm saying? But like, yeah, I'm just when I'm in the motherland, I'm just there. I'm just dead there, as we say in the Caribbean, just dead there. You know what I'm saying? So I really look like any guy, and so I experience myself on that level as well. And especially now when I've gone about learning Swahili, gone about learning I've gone about learning the mother tongue and things like that. And so that it's even deeper, because now I get to just relate at that level, and I'm still learning, but I get to relate at that level, and it puts you in a space of being no one. That is such an important space to be in, to allow yourself to reset. Anyone who's been following my journey for the last 12 years, will you be able to see? You just put me on a timeline. And what happened when I came back from Africa? It was a reset. What happened from being in the motherland? It was a reset. Do you get what I'm saying, family? It was a reset. And so, um, you know, this is something that I can preach about all day, and I will preach about it all day. But guess what? I would also rather give you that experience, because that is something that when you come back to these spaces, you know, we're not going to leave England. We're going to leave, we're going to come back, but London is ours. All right, this is ours as well. The whole world is yours. Okay, the whole world belongs to people. So we don't have to limit ourselves to anywhere. But going back to the motherland is a reset that is a necessary part of spiritual health. And I've made it my business to give people the experience that they can feel like that. You get what I'm saying? I've made it my business to do so. And every year we're growing, and we're adding more feathers to the wings that allows us to fly. Do you get what I'm saying, family? So I really want to, yeah, that's why Village Link Up exists. And this is why we exist, to give you that experience, family. And I'd love anyone of my people in the diaspora, if you'd like to come with us, if you would love to come with us, then feel free. We're going this December 30th, and we're getting in the game. We're getting in the game. We've got like 5 spaces left. For anyone wants to get in the game with us, family. But we're going in, man. It's such an important time, and I think that's a rhythm that I am taking responsibility for. Let's get some questions. Do you experience this in the Caribbean or just the motherland? I think I feel this a little in JA. Definitely, definitely, definitely. You definitely experience this in the Caribbean as well. Yes, I experienced this in the Caribbean, but Caribbean is just an extension of Africa anyway, because again, it's a space where what happens is when you're part of the majority, right? Then that's what happens, especially if they don't treat you like a foreigner as well. Um, in Jamaica, they're down for, they're on that you come from foreign thing, but um, if you're there, if you know how to flex, you will experience that over there as well. I'm sure. I haven't been Jamaica. As soon as I haven't been Jamaican like since I was 18. So I need to go back as well because I know right now, if I pull up in Jamaica right now, it's a different kind of flex. You get what I'm saying? Traveling back home is necessary. I have been to Africa already. It was 100 for me for sure. I came back very grounded. I felt it when I lived in St. Kitts. Absolutely, family. So you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. This December, we've got a magical experience ready for you guys in Kenya. We're going to be in the forests of Kilifi. I'm going to be headlining a festival beneath the baobabs. And we're going to be going on a spiritual adventure thereafter. As soon as we bring in the new year, family, after the festival, we're going to be going on an even greater adventure as well with the family coming through with us. So if you want to be a part of that, a part of these experiences, you know where to find it. Link in the bio. Put your deposit down now and get ready to go on an adventure of a lifetime, family. We're bringing Cheza Rojo back to the motherland where it started. So Cheza Rojo, for anyone who's experienced that with us, you know that we do experiences all the time over here in London, Cheza Rojo. But Cheza Rojo actually begun. It was a revelation that I got from my Asar initiation. So I'm speaking in so many different I'm speaking in so many different so many different things. So again, Waroho House family, um, a big a big part of or the culture of Waroho House is Ma'at. Ma'at is the spiritual laws that represent the harmony of our nature, family. And so we teach this. And so the programs that I run are all to do with becoming a Martian, allowing you to understand all the levels of your spirit so you can design life to your spiritual favor and be in alignment with the purpose in which you come into existence. One of the results of aligning your spirit, or what they call becoming or returning to Asar, which is oneness. One of the results of that is revelations, family. You start to get revelations based on your particular soul journey, and things come through you and to you that represent what you are to gift and give into the world. Um, and so when I was in the motherland on my studies, deep into before I even started teaching about my art, I was deep into the learning. I was deep into the teaching and taking myself through a programming of unifying the spirit into my art. And that coupled with, the being in nature, like just be nature's gonna do it for you. You know that, by the way. Nature will just you know what I'm saying? Nature will do it for you. That coupled with the intellectual study as well, which is very important, especially for the way we are wired over in this Western world. We don't trust nature. So we need curriculum to allow our brains to trust in the heart's intelligence, and which was what you experience in nature. So those two coupled together brought the revelation of Cheza Rojo through me. And that's when I started sharing it. Again, this is all timeline. You can go through my Instagram and see. Um, but yeah, and so that um that initiation brought on the revelation of Cheza Rojo, and since then I've been teaching about Cheza Rojo. The first ever Cheza Rojo was September 27th on 2019. We did a big game in the forest in Nairobi, a forest called Olulua. Side note, Maasai names and Yoruba names are scarily similar. Now, there needs to be an investigation done into the Maasai and Yoruba connection, because one is deep east, one is deep west, but they got names like Olulua, and you swear if I told you where's Olulua from, your survey would tell you Nigeria. But Olulua Forest is a Maasai forest in Nairobi. Um, Beautiful, beautiful space. We had a big Cesarrojo game uh, with the family, and that was the first time we had initiated Cesarrojo in that way, and it was one of the most memorable experiences. It gets really Cesarrojo is in nature gets really psychedelic. Without the agency of plant medicine, you start to activate your own plant medicine. The things that exist in plant medicine already exist in us, whether you're talking about the cannabinoids or DMT. These are things that exist in us, and the game of Cesar Rojo puts you into that altered state, especially when in nature. And it's words, man. Words are rubbish when it comes to describing this, but things I remember the animals gathering to witness what we were doing. We had drums, we had saxophone playing. I even had a speaker, but after when the sun went down, so in the beginning, I was playing music as I do at Cesarrojo music, and then I was emceeing the experience, getting people in the game. And then when the sun went down, we turned off all the electrics, and we just had the drum, tambourines, saxophone, claps, stomps, our voices, and animals gathered to witness. Like, what that man on down there, bruv? it was it was so crazy. You know what I'm saying? And the moon, imagine, it felt like the moon was shining just for us, because the forest was complete pitch black darkness, but we could see everyone's face. And it became so interesting how light, your eyes, you start to see everything. And what I couldn't ignore was how everybody merged with the environment. It becomes so, you really experience what we call oneness, what we call a sa oneness. You're like, hold on, everyone just merged with the environment. And so you start to see greater representations of the avatars that people are presenting, if that makes sense. If I don't make sense to you, please, I want you to put a comment note so I can elaborate even more, because I really want to do that, but I'm reeling off right now. So the sun goes down and you're in the game, right? And then you start using the tools of nature. At that point, you start to witness the interdependent spiritual links between you and everyone in that environment. And people become, because of this mergence, this weird seamlessness with nature, people become almost a greater experience of their usual self because of the darkness, if that makes sense. So you see faces, right? But you've also created this energy field around you. And in the darkness, you can't tell the difference between the tree and your black skin. The tree, your skin, the mud. You know what I'm saying? You just become, you become a layer on top of nature. Does that make sense? Your references, you become a layer on top of nature. There's the tree, the trunks. The trunks are always brown. Then there's you. Then there's the ground. The soil is red, like your face. Do you get what I'm saying? And then it's like, It's like you experience a more magnanimous version of yourself because you're not. It's no longer just this physical, your body. There's the spiritual aspect of you that is very, very present, and that we're all connected to the higher levels of the spirit. If I had to put it in the language of the spirit, it's the higher levels of the spirit. It's ma'at up, it's the supreme energy, the supreme intelligence, and the supreme consciousness. You start to physically see that. That's how I put it. This is why I love ma'at, because it takes the esoteric and makes it exoteric. The things that can't be understood and things that can be physically understood. So esoteric, if I had to break it down in terms of the laws, so if you can see over here, right? The so here is where you start to become an individual from ma'at all the way down. So from ma'at, you get your karma, you get the will of man, you get your imagination, your affirmation, your vibration, and then your physical reality. That's things that deals with your soul's journey. Everything above ma'at is dealing with the universal principles that connect us all. Yeah. And so Cheza Rojo, in a nutshell, when you're in that game in nature, you experience the transcendental version of you, and you start to physically experience the energetic connection, the universal intelligence that exists, and the universal consciousness. You start to see it. You start to see it. Then comes on the euphoric feeling of you feel powerful because it's like it's like when you have a power adapter, you connect. It's like Lego, innit? You connect one Lego to another Lego, it becomes super Lego. You know what I'm saying? That's what happens. You connected to the oneness, all of a sudden things like telepathy become an inevitability. Of course you're going to be telepathy, of course you're going to be telepathic, because you're now, your consciousness is placed in the universal intelligence. So not, you get it? The telepathy is not even wild in that situation, because you're just like, oh, my consciousness is here. So all I got to do to be amongst the processes of everyone, I just got to allow my consciousness to sit in the universal intelligence. But I've done it already. I've opened myself up to it. Becomes a very simple thing. You start thinking things. All of a sudden, you don't even talk. You don't even need to talk in a situation like that. Everyone just sits there in absolute silence. Have you ever sat in absolute silence in nature with your people? Just, you know what I'm saying? What are we talking for? There's nothing to say. Oh man, there's nothing to say. So it's the one, man. You just there in your nature. You don't even know what you look like anymore. You know what I'm saying? You don't even know what's clothes. Am I wearing clothes? Have I got clothes? I don't know. Doesn't even matter what you look like. What's makeup? The hair? Who? What? You're not even thinking about it. Shoes? Who is that? Who thought out that? You know what I'm saying? So I think that's